The fake knock. Mia had always prided herself on being a cautious person, especially when it came to her home. After all, as a single mother, she was the only one who could protect her children. The house, though small, was her safe haven, every lock in place, every window sealed tight. She'd grown used to the stillness of her quiet suburban neighborhood, where everything seemed calm, predictable, and above all, safe. But on this particular afternoon, that sense of security was shattered in the most unexpected way. It was just after 3 p.m. when Mia noticed the first strange thing. Her phone buzzed, and a notification popped up from her Ring doorbell camera. Motion detected at your front door. Normally, Mia would have ignored such alerts, perhaps a squirrel or an early delivery, but a nagging feeling tugged at her. She glanced out the window, but there was nothing to see. The street was empty, the sun was shining, and the house seemed peaceful. Still, something felt off, as if the quiet had become too heavy. Curious, Mia opened the app to check the live footage from the doorbell camera. At first, the porch appeared empty, the dull afternoon light casting long shadows. But then, as the image adjusted, Mia saw him, a man standing on her front porch. He wasn't ringing the doorbell. He wasn't knocking. Instead, he was just standing there, staring directly at the camera, his face obscured by the collar of his jacket and a hood that shadowed his features. His presence felt oddly deliberate, as though he had been waiting for her to notice him. Her breath caught in her throat. For a split second, Mia thought she might have imagined it. Maybe it was just a neighbor or someone who had made a mistake. But as she watched, the man took a step toward the door, then paused. Without warning, he lifted his hand in a slow, deliberate motion and, rather than knocking, tapped lightly on the doorframe. The sound was faint, almost imperceptible, as if he didn't want to disturb the air too much. Mia froze. The knock wasn't a real knock. It was as though he was trying to mimic it without actually doing it. Confusion and anxiety gripped her chest. Why would anyone pretend to knock? What was the point of it? She had no idea, but her heart was beating faster now. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Mia's mind raced with questions. Was it a prank? Or worse yet, a test to see if she was home? She stood motionless for a few moments, staring at the man on the screen. Her mind was clouded with fear, wondering what his next move would be. He didn't seem to be in a hurry. He didn't look like he had any clear intent other than waiting. Mia's instincts screamed at her to call the police, but a quiet voice told her to wait. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe she was overreacting. But just as she was about to put the phone down, something unsettling happened. The man suddenly turned around and glanced back at the driveway, as if checking something or someone. Mia's heart skipped a beat as she saw a car parked across the street. The car's windows were tinted, and the person inside remained hidden from view. The man on her porch didn't look back at the camera. Instead, he seemed to signal to the person in the car with a subtle hand gesture. Mia's blood ran cold. This wasn't just some random stranger. This was coordinated. And whatever the man wanted, it wasn't good. Mia's hands shook as she grabbed her phone and considered calling the police. She didn't know if she should open the door or not, or if she was just imagining the worst. But then the man turned back toward the door and began tapping the door frame again, a little harder this time, as if growing impatient. She could almost feel his presence behind the door, like a shadow pushing against the wood. He knew she was there. He knew she was watching. With each tap, Mia's pulse quickened. What did he want? Why was he standing there pretending to knock, waiting for something? She almost didn't hear the soft sound of the car engine starting, but it was there, faint but unmistakable. The car began to move slowly down the street, its tires barely making a sound on the pavement. It didn't leave entirely. It circled back, as if waiting for the man on her porch to make the next move. The situation took another turn when the man reached for the door handle. Mia's breath hitched. He wasn't just pretending to knock anymore. He was testing the door. She felt the immediate need to lock all the windows and doors. But as she rushed to the back, she heard the faint sound of the door handle jiggling from the front. The man was trying to open it. Her mind spun into overdrive. There was no time to waste. She couldn't take any chances. Mia quickly grabbed her phone and dialed the police. The phone rang, and she held it against her ear, silently praying they would answer. She still hadn't moved from the kitchen, staring at the door, frozen in terror. The seconds stretched, unbearably long. Would the police even arrive in time? What if the man had already gotten inside? The thought of what could happen next, of her children, of her own safety, was too much to bear. But then, just as the operator picked up, Mia's worst fear was realized. The door to the kitchen, slightly ajar, suddenly swung open with a creak, startling her. Someone was inside the house. The cold, eerie silence was shattered by a voice. A low, muffled voice, coming from the hallway just beyond the kitchen. The person had already made it past the front door. Mia's heart thudded in her chest as the operator's voice broke through the chaos in her mind, asking her where she was in the house. Before Mia could respond, the shadow of a figure appeared in the hallway. Slowly, deliberately, she couldn't see his face, but she could see the outline of him, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing dark clothing, just like the man from outside. The figure took a step forward, and then another. Mia felt her blood run cold. Whoever it was didn't belong. He wasn't supposed to be here. As the figure took another step toward her, she heard the sound of sirens in the distance. The police were on their way. But would they be too late? In that split second, Mia had to make a choice. Hide and wait, or face the unknown danger head on. Her heart raced as she stood frozen in place, her phone clutched tightly in her hand. The air in the room felt thick with tension, as if the very walls were closing in. Time seemed to slow. The door handle jiggled once again, and then with a slow, deliberate motion, the man on the other side of the door whispered something, just loud enough for Mia to hear. "I know you're in there." The words hung in the air like a threat, and Mia realized, with a sinking feeling in her chest, that this was no random visit. They had been waiting for her. As Mia's heart raced, the fake knock echoed in her mind, and the unsettling presence of the man at her door lingered like a shadow. Every instinct told her something was horribly wrong, but she couldn't yet put the pieces together. The sound of the car, the strange behavior of the man, and the growing sense of danger. It all felt too calculated, too deliberate. What were they planning? And why did it seem like they knew exactly where to find her? Mia's fight for survival had only just begun, and as the man grew bolder, her every move became a matter of life and death. Don't miss part 6. The Floating Orb, where the terror takes a paranormal turn. Subscribe now to stay updated and make sure you don't miss the next chilling chapter. You won't want to miss what happens next.